This video is brought to you by Phillips Mushroom Farms. The Phillips family has been growing mushrooms in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania since 1927. Visit the farm in Kennett Square for a self-guided growing exhibit and check out the website phillipsmushroomfarms.com for more information and the latest mushroom products. All right. Would you look at this? My favorite mushrooms. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this beautiful plate of shiitake. By the way, thank you to our friends at Phillips Mushroom Farms for sending these our way. So shiitakes are increasingly popular. They're actually native to East Asia, and they're considered a wood rot fungus. So what that means is it grows on dead or fallen trees and logs, particularly oak, chestnut, and beech. But because of its rising popularity, it's increasingly cultivated.
Yeah, so it grows on dead wood?
It does.
Oh, that's so appetizing.
Yeah. Well, but that's true for many mushrooms.
But
it's part, it's part of that cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Because without mushrooms, those logs would never decay into soil.
Well, that's a good point. I know, but it just seems so weird that mushrooms have so many health benefits, and they feed off of particularly dead wood.
No, that's right.
Deep in the
that's
forest.
Right. But that's, again, it's this cycle of rebirth.
Okay, all right, okay. So speaking of health benefits, what are they?
Well, so speaking of, to help us rebirth ourselves, if you will, mushrooms have a ton of health benefits, shiitakes in particular. So very potent anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. They can actually help boost our immune system and help us fight off bacterial infections. They actually have a fairly significant anti-cancer effect.
Yeah, cool.
Which is great.
Yeah.
They've been shown to lower bad cholesterol levels, and it's interesting because it does it in two different ways. Shiitakes have a compound that inhibits an enzyme that helps us make cholesterol, so it decreases the production of cholesterol. There's another compound that helps block the absorption of cholesterol. So two different ways to help lower cholesterol levels, which thus help lower the risk for heart disease. Also, it's got a ton of nutrition in and of itself. It's very high in fiber. It's got a little protein. It's one of the few plants that actually have vitamin D. Vitamin D typically in humans comes from, we can make it in our skin in response to the sun. Mushrooms can do the same thing when they're exposed to sun. Also a great source of many B vitamins, also micronutrients like copper and zinc and manganese. And there's increasing evidence that shiitake mushroom extract, at least, can improve our skin health. And increasingly you're seeing mushroom extracts in skincare products, as you probably know better than I.
Well, no, it really is a very cool thing to see in the marketplace. I mean, a lot of big companies, small companies too, are really using mushroom extracts in their serums and their moisturizers, things like that. Yeah, so it's very cool. All right, so we know a lot of the health benefits. Mm-hmm. Are there any risks to eating my favorite mushroom?
So for the most part, they're very well tolerated. A few people will get a little GI upset if you eat them uncooked. So most people tolerate them. Very rarely, though, there is a condition called shiitake dermatitis, and that just means it's a rash that people get. It's considered to be an allergic reaction, but it's pretty rare.
Okay, and it's not really that serious?
No, it's not fatal or anything. It's just an allergy, like if you took a penicillin and got a rash.
Oh, right? Okay. Yep. All right. Well, okay, so now that we know the health benefits, there's also, yes, I know you're hungry. I get it.
I want to get these onto my plate.
I know. So you will experience, as you probably have before, because I know that you've had shiitakes before, mm-hmm. So they have that woodsy flavor, mm-hmm. and they have a very meaty texture. And of course, you can grill them, you can saute them, you can bake them, you can dehydrate them and crush them, and make some beautiful mushroom powder. But today, we're going to get kind of fancy.
Okay.
We're going to make a pate.
Oh, wait. Doesn't pate typically have liver in it?
Yeah. But because we are not using liver today,
thank God.
I'm pretty sure that our shiitakes will make a perfect stand-in.
All right. Well, I can't wait to try that.
All right, let's get cooking.
All right.
Ready to make some liver-free pate.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
We've got a hot pan, and I am just going to put our chopped onions right in there. These will start to sizzle in just, there they go. Sizzle, sizzle. Now, with just like all plants, as you know, have water in them, right? So that's one of the reasons that I don't use oil in my
Just going to
saute.
comment on that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no oil in that pan, and I think many people think, oh well, if I don't put oil is going to stick, and so there's some health reasons not to use the oil. Oil is just fat. A tablespoon of oil has about 15 grams of fat, 14 grams, 125 calories. And
That's
it's just
one tablespoon has all of that.
Right. And it's just fat, right?
Right.
I mean, there's really there's no fibers, no protein. And so, and the truth is you're going to demonstrate here in a second that we just don't need oil to coat the pan to help us cook our food.
Yeah, that's true. So, in the oil, what does the oil do? It creates a buffer between the pan and the food, right? And so when you take in oil, when you eat oil, that happens with your taste buds, interestingly enough.
Right.
It creates a buffer right above or right between your taste buds and the food. So you think that you can really taste the food, but boy, you take that buffer away,
Right.
then you got some flavor, right? So you can see the mushrooms are glistening now. They look fantastic.
And they smell good. The
They
onions
smell. Or the onions, yeah, sorry.
You're already thinking about those mushrooms. I don't
Well, I
blame
kind
you.
of am.
I don't
Kind of
blame
am.
you. I don't
Yeah,
blame
yeah.
you. I don't blame you.
And the trick to a dry saute is to keep everything moving all the time, because
Right.
that water is starting to come out of the onions. So they're glistening and they're just starting to turn golden a little bit. Keep everything moving. And once there's a little bit of browning on the bottom of your pan, it's called fond, F-O-N-D.
Right.
And when you start to see a little bit of that browning, and maybe the onions start to stick just a little bit, have no fear. Just make sure you have a little bit of either vegetable broth or water off to the side. And
It's deglaze, right?
yep, you just pull that browning up off the floor of your pan and pull it right back into the food, and it creates so much flavor.
Yeah, that smells so good.
Yeah, it really does. And so we just saute these onions until they start to turn golden, right?
Yep.
And we'll give that just a little bit more time. And so, yeah, this is what this is one lesson that I love to teach over and over again in classes, is just this dry saute, because people really don't, once people start to do the dry saute and not add water, and it's
Right.
not, if you want to add oil to your pan, that's fine, but just know that 1 tablespoon is 15 grams of fat,
Right.
100%
That's
fat,
right.
and 125 calories. So, if you're going to add a little bit, then go ahead and add it. Just maybe don't gulp, 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 gulp,
Right.
gulp. Right.
And just recognize you don't need it, and especially if you've got issues with like diabetes or cholesterol, where you really need to monitor your fat intake. So.
Right.
All right, you ready for the garlic?
Well, so I'm going to do one more, because I've got this
more
this
deglaze.
fond right here that is just asking.
Yeah, begging to come off the bottom of that pan, right?
It's a great way to clean your pans too, right? Like there's nothing there anymore.
But man, that smells so good.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to add in, if you can get that. There we go. We have minced garlic, and you just want to heat this up for about, maybe 60 seconds. Really, just until you start to smell it. It becomes fragrant.
It burns pretty easy, right?
It does burn very easily. Garlic is so delicate.
Right.
All right, so I've brought my pan, or my heat, down to like a high medium. And now,
Star of the show.
star of the show, the mushrooms. Now these have a ton of water in them. Give them just a minute, and this whole pan will have so much liquid in it. And so what we're going to do here is, for the next probably 10 minutes or so, is cook these down, and then I will finish off with a mixture of balsamic and soy sauce, and then some herbs.
That's thyme and parsley.
Thyme and parsley, yep.
All right.
And then we will blend it up and have our pate ready to go. Okay. Okay, as you can see, our mushrooms have cooked way down, and I have finished off with the soy sauce and the balsamic and added the herbs, and isn't it beautiful? You can see, gosh, there's hardly, look how much they've cooked down. All right, so now let's put our walnuts, our toasted walnuts, into the blender, and then we'll add in our mushroom mixture. Boy, I could eat this just the way it is. Oh, wow. Now, today we're going to be using the Vitamix for this instead of the food processor because pates are traditionally very thick and very smooth. So that's why we're going to spend some time with the blender today. And this is a high-speed blender. You don't need to use a high-speed blender because all of our food is very soft. You don't need that. Okay, so we're going to put our top on, but because we are still steaming, I'm not going to completely plug this. Now we'll work with this for a while, and then I'm going to transfer it to a dish and put it into the refrigerator. This turned out exactly how I was hoping. It's so thick and dense and creamy. Okay.
Yeah, mouth is watering.
I mean, you were the one who was like so super hungry.
You first.
Okay.
You first. Here you go.
All
Here you
right.
go. This is for you.
Okay. Okay.
Look at that.
And I gave it a little taste test before it went into the fridge for an hour. And it just had that right amount of tang.
Look, see?
Yeah, I did.
It's like, yeah, right, perfect. All right, cheers.
All right, cheers. No, put your pinky up. It's fancy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That would be a hint at inner dinner party, right? A hit.
Well, and you can just make it once a week and eat it all week long, too, right? You're getting a really good dose of healing shiitake mushrooms.
Yep.
Yep. So,
all right.
This was all right, I'll say.
And thanks again to our friends at Phillips Mushroom Farms for supplying us with these beautiful shiitakes. See you soon.
Bye.